You flip on the kitchen light at 2 in the morning and the floor moves. Not one roach, not two. A whole carpet of them scattering toward the fridge, under the stove, into gaps in the wall you didn't even know existed. If that's happened to you, stay with me because the fix costs less than the coffee you bought this morning, and it works better than most of what's sitting in a pest control van right now. Here's the problem. Nobody explains properly. You spray. The roaches you can see die. The ones you can't see, the ones already inside the wall, never touch the poison. And here's the part that makes it worse. A female German cockroach carries her egg case on her body until she's ready to drop it somewhere safe. When you spray her and she runs, she's not fleeing the danger. She's delivering it straight into the nursery. 3 weeks later, you've got a new generation, and this one's a little tougher because the weak ones already got wiped out by the last kin you bought. That's not bad luck. That's just how the biology works against a spray. So if spraying keeps failing, why does everyone keep doing it? Partly habit, partly because a can at the store is easy to grab, and partly because a spray that wears off in 2 weeks means you're back at the shelf buying another one. There's nothing sinister required to explain that. It's just how a lot of consumer pest products are designed to be used repeatedly. The alternative most people have heard of but never used correctly is boric acid. And the reason it fails for most people isn't the ingredient, it's how they apply it. Boric acid has been used as a household insecticide for close to a century. It shows up in old household remedy books long before modern pesticides existed, usually mixed with something sweet because on its own a fine mineral powder scattered on a baseboard just gets walked around. Roaches aren't attracted to boric acid, they're attracted to sugar. The trick generations of households figured out, long before pest control was an industry with a logo, was combining the two so the roach can't get the food without getting the poison. Here's the part that actually explains why this works so well, and it's genuinely elegant biology, not marketing. Roaches groom each other, they eat each other's droppings, and when one dies, others will feed on the corpse. That sounds disgusting, and it is, but it means one small amount of bait doesn't just kill the roach that eats it. That roach carries boric acid dust on its legs and body back into the wall void. It takes hours to a couple of days for boric acid to damage the roach's digestive lining and dehydrate it, which means it stays mobile long enough to spread the toxin through grooming, through waste, and eventually through its own body being eaten by the colony. One bait station can end up taking out roaches that never touched the bait directly. That's the mechanism a fogger or a surface spray simply can't replicate, because a spray kills on contact and does nothing after that. Now for the part that actually matters, how to do it right. Mix 1 part boric acid powder with 1 part plain sugar and 1 part flour, dry, until it's a uniform powder with no white streaks left. Add water a few drops at a time, stirring as you go until it forms a stiff dough, similar to cookie dough, not runny and not crumbly. Roll small amounts into marble-sized balls. Place them on plastic bottle caps or small squares of wax paper. Both work fine because they keep the bait contained and easy to move if you ever need to. Then tuck those caps into the places roaches actually travel. Behind the fridge as far as your arm can reach, under the stove, inside the cabinet under the sink, behind the toilet, near the water heater, any spot that's dark, undisturbed, and close to a water source. On safety, be honest with yourself about this part. Boric acid is a registered pesticide, and while the amount in a single bait ball is small, it is genuinely toxic if a child or pet eats a meaningful quantity of it. And both borax and boric acid carry a poison control warning on the label for a reason. Don't treat the dose is small as a reason to get careless. Place bait behind appliances, deep inside cabinets, behind pipework, anywhere a toddler can't reach and a curious dog can't dig into. If you have small children or pets that get into everything, use a small container with holes drilled in the side so the roach can enter but nothing bigger can, and keep the raw dry powder itself locked away entirely, since that's far more concentrated than the finished dough. The step almost nobody talks about is patience, and it's the actual reason this method gets written off as it didn't work by people who gave up too early. The adult roaches that find the bait die within a few days, and that's usually when people declare victory, clean everything up, and vacuum the bait away. But a female cockroach can carry an egg case for weeks before dropping it, and if she dropped it before she ever touched the bait, those eggs are still going to hatch, right on schedule, 2 or 3 weeks later. That's not the treatment failing, that's the treatment getting interrupted before the second wave ever had a chance to run into it. Leave the bait completely undisturbed for a minimum of 2 weeks, 3 if you can manage it. Don't vacuum near it, don't move it, don't clean it up early, even if your kitchen looks completely clear by day 5. The visible die-off is not the finish line. While the bait is working, do 2 more things that make the whole job permanent instead of temporary. First, take a flashlight and a tube of caulk and go through every room sealing the gaps roaches use as daytime hiding spots. Behind baseboards, around pipe penetrations under sinks, gaps behind cabinet hinges, anywhere you can see a dark seam. A roach that has nowhere dry and dark to hide during the day is forced into the open, where it either starves, dries out, or runs straight into your bait. Second, deal with water. A roach can survive weeks without food, but only a matter of days without a water source. So fix the dripping tap you've been ignoring, wipe down the sink before bed, and don't leave standing water anywhere overnight. Sealing the cracks and cutting the water supply doesn't kill anything by itself, but it removes every reason a colony would want to stay, and it makes the bait dramatically more effective because a hungry, thirsty roach isn't picky about what it eats. If you want to take it one step further, and you don't have to, but it does make the treatment last much longer, you can very lightly dust plain dry boric acid powder, not the dough, into wall voids you already have access to, behind an outlet cover, in an unused phone jack, anywhere there's an opening into the wall cavity. If you go this route, always shut off the breaker to that outlet before removing the cover plate. Use a small squeeze bottle or a turkey baster to puff a very small amount in and never overload the space. A light dusting deep inside a dry wall cavity, protected from moisture, can stay effective for a long time because nothing in there disturbs it. This step isn't required, and if you're not fully comfortable working near household wiring, skip it entirely and stick to the bait stations, which do the vast majority of the work on their own. None of this is a miracle, and I'm not going to tell you one afternoon guarantees you never see another bug for the rest of your life, because pest control doesn't really work that way. What it will do, if you follow it properly and give it the 2 to 3 weeks it actually needs, is break the reproductive cycle that keeps an infestation going instead of just thinning out the roaches you happen to see. Under $10 in materials, about an hour and a half of work spread across sealing gaps and placing bait, and the discipline to leave it alone once it's down. That's the whole method. If you're the type who wants the receipts, not because you're supposed to trust me, but because you shouldn't trust anyone on the internet blindly. This is documented, testable, boring, unglamorous pest science, and it's held up for a long time because the mechanism behind it is simple and hard to argue with. If this helped, or if you're about to try it tonight, let me know in the comments which room you're starting with. This has been HiddenFixLab. Fix the small things properly, and you spend a lot less time and money fighting the big ones later.